Hello everyone. Of course you know this by now that I am speaking. Why? Because I am the man. I got it like that. That's just me. I just made veto. That's me. But no, in all seriousness, thank you for watching. And those of you, this is your first time, thank you for tuning in and watching the channel. This is my lovely wife, Marshall. She normally would be doing the introduction, but because, you know, she talked down on me and really spoke some negative things, and God heard her. God heard her. She was going to work. I think it was the day that you hung up the phone. You hung up the phone, you know, and I was like, God, this is your daughter. Now, I don't know what you're going to do, but that was not right, what she just did to me. And from then on, she can't talk. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
See? She can't even talk. Why? See, that goes to show you. Wives, let me tell you something. Do not cross your husband. When you cross your husband like that, see, God don't like ugly. See, God don't like ugly. No, but in all seriousness, y'all, don't you just feel sorry for her? I feel sorry for her because she can't really talk. And I think this started when? It's a couple of days ago.
Not that long ago.
Yeah. And did you start feeling it last week?
Well, I felt like a little...
Last Sunday, something like that. Yeah, and unfortunately, it turned out to be laryngitis, and then from there, it seems to start to escalate to like a little small cold. So now we have her on this ginger and the ginger and the lemon and the raw honey. We have her on that. And if you notice her cup, well, both of our cups, it says the boss. And y'all probably wondering, well, who's the real boss? Well, if you look closely, she has the real boss. That means that she is the real boss. I'm just a little peon. That's all I am. I'm just a little elf. She's Mrs. Claus. I'm a little elf. But yeah, thank you guys for chiming in and, you know, watching the video.
Welcome to the process. And
welcome to the process, of course. And we're gonna talk some good talk today.
Sorry.
And she's gonna try to get through this, y'all. You know, and I really, to be honest with you, y'all, we were really struggling, you know, whether or not we really wanted to do this, because we know that we had some things on our heart that we believed that God was, you know, dealing with us to kind of present to you guys. And we was like, oh man. And then all of a sudden this took place and her voice started to go out, and, you know, so now we are here. And she said, no, babe, I want to do a video. I want to go ahead and get it done. Or at least we can do a video giving the people an understanding of why we hadn't done the video yet. It's because of her voice is not here yet. But, you know, we're going to try to get through it. But what we're going to talk about today is divorce, separated divorce. Okay. Separated, but not divorced. Should you date them?
There you go.
I nailed that thing. One take, I nailed it.
We'll be back. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
And she's keying me and educating me on how to do this. And we will be back. Stay tuned. Y'all like the way I did that? That was cool. I am terrible at this, man. I'm telling you. We're back, everyone. Don't she look pretty and can't even talk? Golly. But I'm going to start off first with my testimony. That's a darn shame. She's so cute and can't even talk. But I'm going to start off my testimony first. Of what happened in my situation. In 1999, I came home from work, and there was a note that was left. Before the note, of course, there was disagreements, arguments on a consistent basis. I kind of felt that something was going to take place like that because, you know,
when he was married, y'all.
Yeah, this is when I was married to my first wife.
For those who don't
this is when I was married to my first wife, and this was 1999. And it was, I kind of felt that something was going to happen. I don't know what it was, but I just felt that just things wasn't right, you know. And when I came home from work, I saw a note, and yes, she written me a note, and she, you know, this is what her demands was, and at the time, you know, I wasn't surprised, wasn't shocked, but at the same time, I was like, whoa, wow, so this really did happen. And then from there, you know, I got my things, and because she wasn't there, she had already, and she took the kids and all.
What the note said?
Well, the note said that, Vito, I can't do this no more, and we just not, I think if I can remember, it said, Vito, I cannot do this anymore, and I'm tired, and I'm taking the kids with me, and she requested so much of money per week for child support. We hadn't even, you know, went to court or nothing, and so she said that she would be getting in touch. So when she told me that, I quickly called my mom, my dad, well, my mom, my stepfather, and told them what was going on. And they had already had like an apartment that they had on the side. It was just a small house that they had, and it was vacant. So, you know, they told me I can come and stay there. So fast forwarding, just kind of getting myself together, learning even at that time, trying to adjust. Okay, now I got to go through this. I got to go through this, you know, transition now. You know, it wasn't no divorce or nothing like that. We were just separated, and then you know, just, you know, constantly in prayer and wondering what was, you know, going on with my kids, wondering what was going on, what she was saying to them. You know, these things was just running through my mind. But as time went on, you know, for like, I think we was only separated for at least about a good 3 months. I would say about 3 months. And I had about a month went by, and the next thing you know, I met this young lady. Okay, I met this young lady. Now this is when, you know, we were not divorced yet, and I met this young lady. We started to, you know, talk. We started to, you know, see each other, talk on the phone. We really didn't go out, you know, to no movies or anything like that. But, you know, we would kind of hang out. And it started to get to the point where we were getting serious with each other. But I was still connected, you know, and I was still connected to my, you know, to my ex-wife. And so it came a point where when one particular situation took place where we made arrangements. And we made arrangements to get my son. And when we made the arrangements to get my son, you know, when I saw her, my ex-wife, she didn't know it. She didn't know at the time, because, well, no. When I saw her and saw my son, there was a guy who she was seeing. And they were living together at the time.
Who?
And my ex-wife.
And another man.
Yeah. And when I saw her do that, I felt, okay, well, you know, since she going on with her life, well, I'm going to go ahead and go on with my life. Since she's seeing someone, well, okay, well, then if somebody come my way, I'm going to, you know, see somebody. But that was not really, originally, that was not in my heart. No, my intent was really, I wanted my marriage to work, period. I wanted my marriage to work. I wanted my wife and I, my ex-wife, to get along. I wanted us to make this work. But when I saw that kind of discouraged me, but at the same time, it disappointed me. It made me angry. It made me upset. You know, I mean, it just really kind of really tore me, it tore me up a little bit, you know. When I saw her do that, you know, hey, I was like, okay, you know, since, you know, and even me being a child of God, you know, I'm still a child of God. I still love the Lord. But I'm like, okay, well, you know, if she does that, then I'm with her, you know. And which was wrong to even go in that direction and even think that way, because you still connected. You still connected to that individual in marriage. And even though still you may say, okay, well, God didn't put us together, so, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Because by law, he still tells you to obey the laws of the land. So even by law in God's eyes, you still connected to that person until that marriage is dissolved. You do it legally, that's when God is like, okay, now you're free from that. But I wasn't free from that. So when me and this young lady, we started to talk to each other I mean, it went from one thing to the next, and the next thing we was like, I mean, I don't know if you would call it dating or what, but I mean, dating, and we start dating. I mean, if that's what you want to call it, yeah, we start dating, and even though in the back of my mind I'm like, this ain't right, this ain't right, but I still went along with it, and hey, she probably was in a situation where she was, lonely herself, and yeah, so it got to that point where we were dating, and then my wife at that time, she found out about it, and when her and the guy broke up or what, they stopped seeing each other, and me and this young lady, we hadn't stopped seeing each other, and she started to call me more. This is my wife at that time. She started to call me more. Now this was after she don't portray to me that she was moving on. So now when I'm moving on, but we both still married, it's just going to be, it just wasn't going to be a good situation for nobody. And I was still in love with her, still in love with my wife at that time, and wasn't in love with this young lady who I was dating, but I was still in love with my wife. And so she kept calling and calling my wife at that time. She kept calling, and of course, I would, talk with her, and the next thing she started weaving herself back into my heart. But that's when God was telling me, do not go back. God was telling me to leave both of them alone. He was telling me to leave both of them alone, because the one that I was dating was not the one he had sent at all, because he would never do that anyway, because I was still connected to my wife. And when my wife said that she didn't want the marriage anymore, she walked away from the marriage. And then when she went to go and stay with this guy, I just believed that I was released from that. But because my flesh and the me being in love with the sex, instead of being in love with God, because I can't tell you that I was in love with God, because if I was in love with God, I would obey God. I would have obeyed God. I'm not saying what somebody else would have done, but it was God was telling me to leave both of them alone. And unfortunately, the young lady who I was dating, I hurt her because I hurt her, because I told her that, well, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my wife. And then the crazy part about it is that, she knew I was going to go back. She knew I was going to go back, because she told me that she had a dream about that. But God was telling me to leave both of them alone. I wasn't supposed to be involved with her. Neither was I supposed to go back to my wife at that time. I was telling you, that's how I know how strong-willed this flesh can be. How much of a lust to be involved with somebody or to be with somebody. And when you start off being in the flesh with that person, because you get connected with that person in the flesh, that's what's going to take place. It's going to be such a strong will. It's going to be like a stronghold, because you connected with them, and God ain't told you to be with them. You connected with them. Now you don't have intimacy with them. And then the next thing you know, now you try to pull away from them. You can't pull away from them. Why? Because it's going to take a supernatural power of God to pull you away from something like that.
So it's never okay.
No.
To be married. I don't care if they were divorced. I don't care if they're separated forever in the day.
Right.
If they're still connected to that person, they are off limits.
Off limits.
I don't care what you say. I'm going to try to share my testimony, y'all. I hope y'all can hear me. Way back when I was minding my own business and doing what I do, I was working at an insurance company. A friend of mine wanted me to meet her boyfriend at the time. Well, her boyfriend had a brother, and long story short, I met the brother, and we started dating. Was not saved at all, knew of Christ, but did not have a relationship with him. So I was a heathen, let's put it that way. Met this guy, we was together for a year before I found out things that I should have known when I met him. Anyway, everything was going fine. I got a knock on the door. It was a lady. She said, "Hi, are you?" And she said my name, Marshall. And I said, "Yes, who are you?" She said, "Well, I am Mrs. So-and-so," which was the guy I was dating last name. I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Yeah, I am his wife. And you see those children right there in the car? Those are his kids."
Wow. Wow.
So, for a whole year, we were together, and I had no idea because he had his own place. They were separated. They had been separated, obviously, longer than a year because we were together for about a year, and found out he was married. Of course, we call him and try to figure out what's going on, and his thing was they were separated. So in his heart, they were no longer married. It was just, formalities that hadn't taken place on paper, if you will. And he felt like it was just a piece of paper. His heart was with me. I mean,
wow.
All the stuff that we like to hear, So, again, I knew he had kids because there were pictures around his house. I would shack up with him. I would be spending the night with him. So there was no real indication that he was married. I did not go into this relationship knowing he was married. He lied to me. He never told me. He deceived me. Because let him tell it, I never asked. Anyway,
wow.
So deception. I was never told, so I didn't get that fair, initial.
Right. Up front.
Right.
Yeah.
So for a whole year, I'm thinking this man belonged to me. I'm seeing a future with this man. Are we sleeping together? Yes. Absolutely, we're sleeping together. So are there soul ties? Yes. And then even after that, when he found out, I knew. He went through this whole thing where he wanted to prove to me that he loved me. So he even took me to his attorney's office to file the papers. So I'm right there in front of him and the attorney, filing the papers, going through what's going on. So I'm thinking, okay, he's for real. Because why would a man take you to his attorney's office, tell you all of this, even talk to the wife in front of you, letting her know that he's in love with me? I mean, it was a whole bunch of stuff. And I said, okay, well, this is very uncomfortable for me, but at least I see that he's pursuing the divorce. So I'm thinking everything's okay. Fast forward, a whole bunch of drama took place. A whole bunch of other drama was taking place with other, females. That's another video. And that's going to be called If He's Cheating with You on her, He's Cheating on You with somebody else. Anyway, did y'all hear what I just said? But anyway, after that, I knew God. I did not have a relationship with him. I was religious at best. Went to church on the regular, but didn't have a relationship with God at all. And yet I was sleeping with a married man. Even after I found out, I bet you're asking, well, Marshall, you didn't know in the beginning he was married. So why did you stay with him after? let me tell you what actually happened. When I found out he was married, I did let him go. I was like, I cannot do a married man. That's just not me. I cannot. And I broke up with him for 3 months, y'all. That's my number. 3 whole months I broke up with him. And in those 3 months, he tried, he pursued me. That's when he wanted to take me to see the attorney to kind of prove to me he was serious.
Trying to weave you back.
And he even told me then, he was like, you know, Marsha, I understand if you want to see me right now until everything is done. And, you know, I'm going to make sure it gets done. And so even after that, I was like, well, I'll just wait. I'll wait. You get it done. We just can't see each other. Yeah, right. We've already had sex, y'all. So there's a soul tie that's connecting us.
Right.
And it's not as easy as saying, well, you knew he was already married, so why you just didn't cut it off? When you don't have a strong relationship with God, and your soul tie is stronger than the relationship with God, there's no possible way you can cut that thing off. You need God and God alone to cut that off. I could not have done that. This flesh was weak. I can't do that alone. I knew I needed God, but because I didn't have God in my life, that was hard. Because I didn't have a relationship with him, that's hard. So a lot of times people say, well, you knew he was married, so why you didn't leave? It goes back to having that relationship with Daddy. Daddy can help you. You can't do it on your own. We've already connected. That's why God said, don't connect yourself with anybody before you're married. Period. And here it is, I'm connected with somebody that's already married to somebody else. Seriously? Sorry, y'all. So now, some more drama happens even after we got back together. And to make a long story short, I sat on the toilet. That was my throne at the time. And y'all, I was like, again, I was religious at best. I didn't have a relationship. But let me tell you how God still loves his children even before we decide to go to him. He's already with us. He's just waiting for us. Let me tell you what happened. I said, God, it was taking too long. And still his divorce wasn't final. Why? What's going on? Is he lying to me? I mean, telling me all this stuff, and it's always the lady. It's always her. And it's always, you know, she's the one that's not doing this, and she's the one doing that. And of course, you want to believe him because now you're in love with this man, right? So I asked God, I said, God, you're going to have to show me. I don't care what you have to do. You're going to have to show me that he is not mine. Listen, he's already married. And listen to my prayer.
Wow.
Stupid.
He's already married.
I need you to show me for real that he's not mine. And if I really need to just leave him alone, and if this divorce is ever going to happen. Now, you see how stupid that prayer is?
Yeah, that was real religious.
But even though I prayed that, God answered. As stupid as it was, God said, okay. Because he already knew. I ended up, long story short, I found him in the bed with his wife. Matter of fact, the wife and I set it up.
Wow.
She told me, she called me because I wanted to see if they were still seeing each other. Because at this time, he's put a ring on my finger. Yeah, I had a ring on it, y'all.
Dang.
So
I'll slap that joke if I see him today.
He married.
Did my baby like that. But I'm glad you did.
He put a ring on it. So he got to be mine. He can't be hers. You know, right? You know what I'm saying?
He put a ring on it.
He put a ring on it. Be careful when you ask for people to put a ring on it.
They may have already got a ring on somebody else's on. You better watch out.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So the lady told, his wife says, Marshall, he say he's coming to the house to cut his son's hair, right? I said, yeah. That's not why he's coming to the house. Really? No, he's coming to the house. Because he wants some.
He wants some nookie nookie.
Now, he just got some nookie nookie for me. So now you better go get some nookie from her, which is legal.
Yeah, because that is his wife.
Absolutely. So
she's an illegal individual.
Idiot.
Yes.
I'm the illegal idiot.
I'm glad you said it. I ain't gonna call you no idiot.
I was an idiot, man. Stupid idiot. So
you doing good, babe. Go ahead.
It's a struggle.
That's okay, babe. You gonna get it.
So we set this thing up. Sure enough, he comes over. Where's the son? Didn't find him. Nowhere to be found. She left the door unlocked for me and my friend to come upstairs.
See what women do? I'm sorry, women. brothers, all right? Brothers, if you get caught up in this, that's good for you. You should have got caught up in it because you ain't had no business doing that at all. Be a man of God. I got something to say after that, after she go.
I go upstairs, y'all, and I open the door. Now, before I went in, she told me, she said, don't say anything, just look and leave. I said, okay.
You know she wasn't going to go in that door and just look and leave.
I said,
she going to go in there and look, keep looking, stay right there, hear everything. Go ahead.
So here it is. Here it is. I walk upstairs with my friend.
Lord, that must go. You had some guts.
We get upstairs, and
you had somebody with you? Okay.
It was a friend. I mean, my friend was with me. She went first. She looks through the door and she says, Marshall, let's go. I said, oh no. What did you see? She said, Marshall, let's go. She said, you don't need to see this. So I pushed her out the way and I go upstairs myself and I open the door and I see two butt-naked individuals getting busy. Well, he was on her and she was looking at me while I'm looking at him and her. So she's lip-talking me saying, leave. There's the dresser by the door. I take my keys, his keys, I took his keys and I threw it in the room. So he looks back and he see me because I wanted to make sure I saw his face.
When he saw you.
And I wanted him to see my face. So you remember those phrases that we always hear? It wasn't me. I wanted to make sure I eliminate that, right? So I saw him.
Yeah, the song.
So I wanted to
wasn't
make sure
me.
It wasn't me. He couldn't say that. So I looked right here in his eyes. And he looked at me. And she has a smirk on her face. I was like, wow. I go downstairs. I'm running downstairs. I'm furious. I'm grabbing his cell phone that was downstairs. I'm getting ready. I'm going in the kitchen. My friend's trying to stop me. I'm looking for knives. I'm going insane. I'm about to tear up his house.
His house. He married.
House. I'm getting ready to tear it up. Now, I'm trespassing. Technically. Although she let me in, but it'll be her word against mine. I'm getting ready to tear the place up. My friend, thank God for her. She grabs me. We go into the car and we pulling off. She's driving. I'm crying hysterically. She looks at me. She said, Marshall, look behind the freaking car. I'm looking behind the car. This
idiot, I tell you, I say it for you, baby. Yeah,
he could be better now, but back then.
No, we talking about back then. He's an idiot, dummy,
He's running
stupid,
down the
no good,
street, half naked, running with his pants half on, trying to put his pants on, running behind the car after me. I see her. Now we're driving. I'm looking. I can see him running. I see her coming out the door, watching him running down the car after me.
Wow. She's stupid too, babe. I'm sorry.
You would have thought after that, it was over. It wasn't over. I broke up with him for a little while. maybe 3 months again, I don't know. Got back with him. Marshall, you found out he was married. You saw him sleeping with her. And you still went back.
That was a stronghold.
I did.
That was a stronghold.
I did. I was shame, regret, you name it. I went back, y'all. And I thought at the time, he was mine. I remember when everything was fine. There was peace. There was no fighting. There was no drama. It was just a regular day. And I started driving. I cannot tell you today where I was. And for the life of me, I've been trying to figure out, where was I? But I remember stopping in the middle of the street on the side of the road somewhere. There was no cars. It was broad daylight. It wasn't dark. And I just started crying because I knew I wasn't right. There was conviction. There was just so much conviction. I said, if there's a God, you're going to have to help me. And I remember giving my life to Christ in my car, on my steering wheel. I wasn't in a building. And I said, God, you're going to help me because I'm not right. I am with a married man, and I can't leave him alone. I need your help. God saved me in my car that day. He saved me in my car. And I left, y'all. My friend at the time, she asked me, she said, do you have a place? She's called it church, but a place of fellowship. And I said no. And I went. But I cried out to God in my car. That day was the day that God changed my life. And that's the day I gave my life to Christ for real. I never looked back on that relationship. I couldn't go back. It was as if the stronghold was just lifted. It's like God just took it away from me. And I knew it was God. I didn't have those pretty prayers. And I didn't say, I didn't know what to say. I didn't have anyone say, repeat after me. I just said, God, I need you. I need you to help me. If you are real, like they say you are, I need you to help me. And he did, y'all. If you're messing with a married man, if you're messing with a married woman,
don't do it.
It's not God. I don't care how they paint it. I don't care how it feels.
What it looked like.
It's not
God. It's not God.
He is not yours. She does not belong to you.
Nope.
It's not fair to you, to that person, or to God. The one that God has for you, he can't give it to you because you with somebody else.
Yep.
And I say, God, please forgive me, because when you do send me mine, I don't want adultery to be an issue in my marriage. I don't want to reap what I had to sow. You know what I did? God told me to go back and apologize. And I didn't know how to do it. He wanted me to apologize to his wife, and I didn't know how to do it. You know how I did it? She called me out of the blue. I hadn't seen this man in forever and a day. She calls me and she said, Marshall, this is so-and-so. My heart dropped. Like, why is this lady calling me? She said, have you seen my husband? I said, excuse me?
Wow.
She said, have you seen my husband? Have you been with my husband? Because he hasn't been home and I don't know where he is. And the only person I know he was with last was you. I was quiet and I told her, I called her name. I said, sweetheart, I haven't seen your husband. But God had told me to tell you something. And she was like, what did God tell you to tell me? You've been sleeping with my husband, da, 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 da. And she went off, and she had every reason to.
Yeah.
I couldn't even be mad. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm so sorry. And I started ministering to her. I was loving on her. And I told her what God had for her was for her. And I told him I'm going to pray for her and him. And I just started praying. God gave me the words to say. I started praying on the phone with this woman. I was praying for her marriage, for her children. And all I heard was tears on the other line. We were crying together, y'all. This was crazy. I was sleeping with this lady's husband. And now I'm praying with her for her marriage, for her children, and we're crying together. That was a healing not only for me, but that was a healing for her.
Yeah.
To know who she was in Christ.
Right.
I don't know what happened after that phone call. That's between her and God.
And how long ago was that?
Oh my God. I don't even remember. That's been
about 1990.
I gave my life to Christ in 99.
Okay. So that was it, yeah.
So this was in 1999, between 99 and 2000.
That's amazing. 99, and then 99 is when I was
getting a separation.
I was separated from my
I'm giving my life to Christ in 99. He's separating from his wife in 99.
Yeah, my first wife, y'all. And when I started, dating that young lady before I went back to my wife.
So
yeah, which I hurted that young lady so bad. I hurted her bad.
It's never okay.
I hurt her bad. Yeah.
If that's your husband, and if that's your wife, and they're already married, it's not God, because that's not his word.
If that's what you feel, yeah.
If that's what you think, if you're thinking that's my husband or that's my wife, and they're involved with somebody else, that's not God.
That's not God.
It's contrary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I could not leave on my own.
You had to pray that prayer. Only God can break a stronghold.
It was God, y'all.